I have no sound. There's no sound. No sound. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. There was absolutely no sound. I saw the lips moving. I thought you were teasing me.
Oh, no, I was talking. That's weird. Whatever. All right. So
About that?
today we
Yeah.
are going to Realtor Jail with JimCamarat. No, Jim's not coming with us, but we're going to talk about Article 16. And should you, if you don't get the listing, should you call the seller and find out? Jim, what happened?
Well, this is what happened. Two agents that have been in the business for a long, long time. They've always competed against each other, but they've been friendly. And of
Okay.
course, being in the same market for so many years, in this case, it was like 30 years, you get to know the same people.
Right.
So this potential seller interviewed both of them,
Okay.
chose one over the other.
Well, that happens because you can only pick one.
You can only pick one. And so,
Well, unless you're with the same brokerage, then if those, because that happened to me a handful of times where me and somebody else from the brokerage are going up against each other. And it was always my suggestion that we co-list because it looks better. And I don't know, it just feels nicer.
and that's a great idea and a great tactic. I mean, it's a win-win-win.
Right.
But in this case, it wasn't. There
No.
were two separate brokerages.
Okay.
So the agent who did not win the listing decided to call the seller. Yeah, they knew each other
Get some
socially.
feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Great.
hey, I'm just kind of curious as to why you chose over me. You willing to share that? Well, the seller wasn't too happy about that and said, it's none of your business and don't
Wow.
call me again on this. And she complained to her agent, who was the one who filed the ethics complaint.
Can you read to me Article 16, please?
Realtors shall not engage in any practice or take any action inconsistent with exclusive representation or exclusive brokerage relationship agreements that other realtors have with clients. And it goes on, it's got 16, probably 8 or 9 subsections
Okay.
of what shall not do, but basically is don't interfere with an existing.
But it's not interfering. It's kind of a separate point. Like you can, I mean, if it were me, I never call, of course. But if I were, it would be something like, hey, congratulations. I'm so happy they're such a great agent. If I have a buyer, I'm happy to bring them by. Do you mind providing some feedback as I'm always trying to be better? Ta-da. That's it.
Yeah, well, agents have done that and no one has complained in the past. However, this seller did
But you're
not.
not interfering. So it is. So you're saying that is deemed interfering?
You want to know what the outcome was with the?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know at all.
The panel said you were in violation. Do it.
That's dumb.
They found this agent in violation of Article 16. Curiosity or desire to enhance your business presentation skills do not justify the continued contact with a client under contract with another brokerage.
Okay, so you can do it. Okay. First of all, I 100% disagree. Second, like, unless it's like they're saying continued, like it's ongoing and it's like obnoxious. Okay, that's different, right? But if you're just like you're full circling and wrapping up the conversation of like using us versus the competition, right? Like you got to wrap it up. So at some point that client would have communicated, we're not going to be listing with you or something like that, I assume. And that's when the conversation happened.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with timing too. If you haven't seen it on MLS yet and you're just following up,
then you would have no way of knowing you were interfering.
Yeah. I've decided to go with XYZ Realty. Thanks. Can I ask why?
Yeah.
But in this case, she waited until she saw it on MLS, then called the seller
I mean,
directly.
that's kind of bad follow-up skills.
Well, part of what the panel said also was that you didn't have permission to speak to this client
Right.
of the other agents, the other brokerage. So
Yeah,
had
I think
she had
that
permission, that could have been a whole different story.
if what?
If she had gotten permission to call the client for that feedback.
Or if the client had called the agent directly and said, we're
Yeah.
not. So
Yeah.
it sounds like we have either some missing information or this agent like didn't follow up, because it's, I mean, I guess it could be possible that, you know, agent A interviewed at 1 o'clock, agent B interviewed at 2 o'clock, and the listing was up by 3, but it's highly unlikely, right? Like there was a gap in there that agent A, if they didn't get it, would have, should have, could have followed up without interfering by the code of ethics.
Yeah, and I would have, if I had not seen it listed, I would have certainly followed up with this potential client. Heck, I made a presentation. Did I get
Yeah.
it or didn't I get it? Oh, I didn't get it. Would you mind sharing with me why you chose to not list with me?
Right. Or yeah. So,
The color of my
right.
hair that day. I don't know. It could be anything
It could be
silly.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, following up is critical. And actually, Monica and I did a fight club about should you go first or last, or does it matter?
Yeah, I know. That'll be a debate forever.
We're
and
not gonna
ever.
yeah, we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I feel like it would be a big debate. I
Yeah.
mean, yes. And I think your process as a real estate agent has to include persistent follow-up if you don't walk away with the contract signed. And I'm wondering, if you don't walk away with it signed, did you do a pre-listing questionnaire to say, hey, look, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that we can sell your home, do you plan on listing with me? So that you're setting it up, that there's a communication pattern here. It
Mhm.
doesn't sound like any of that was done.
Mhm.
So I think I might
Study.
I'm
You're
not
right.
100% disagreeing anymore.
You're funny. You crack me up.
But I just think I mean, yeah, anyway, I think it sounds like there was some other details that we're not privy to with the relationship with these agents and with this client.
Yeah, and with ethics hearings, we never know any of the details because we all have to sign a confidentiality agreement,
Boo.
not discuss it afterwards. So these are case studies prepared by NAR.
Right.
We don't have all the
Yeah.
details.
So my takeaway here is once it's listed, you're not allowed to call the client, if they're not your client. You're not allowed to call the customer if they're not your client.
Right.
And if you do want to follow up, do it before there's somebody else's client.
Or get permission.
Nobody's going to give you
May or may
permission.
not be granted. No, from the listing agent.
They're not going to say, yeah, call the client.
Well, you never know. Depends on the relationship that you have.
It could, or you could even ask the agent, hey, congratulations. I interview with them too. Do you mind asking them, or do you mind asking if I could call them about that? And like, that's it, and see what they say.
Or did they tell you why they selected you over me?
Listen,
That's okay.
it's always either price, terms, or they call it a marketing plan, but really they don't like you. Those are the only 3 reasons why they didn't list with you.
Could be any number of the above. Yeah.
Well, Jim, if people have a referral for you in Minnesota, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Okay, call or text 612-562-7461 or email me at JimCamarat@kw.com.
Awesome. Don't end up in realtor jail.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye.